Have you ever observed how your energy shifts when you cease to answer every phone call, respond instantly to every message, or agree to every request made of you? There is something profoundly spiritual that occurs when you allow yourself to become less available to everyone and everything. Initially, it may seem odd, perhaps even selfish, but with time, you will notice a transformation. Your sense of peace returns, your mind clarifies, and you begin to reconnect with your own spirit when you reduce your availability to the external world. As this process unfolds, something powerful stirs within you. Many of us grow up with the belief that being a good person means always being there for others, consistently showing up, responding promptly, and providing assistance. However, few people explain the toll this takes on our souls when we are perpetually on and never afford ourselves the space to simply exist. We stretch ourselves thin by giving away fragments of ourselves to family, friends, co-workers, and even strangers online. Consequently, we may wonder why we often feel exhausted, drained, or disconnected from our true selves. The reality is that the more available we are to everything outside of us, the less present we become with our own inner world. At some point, your soul begins to softly whisper, "Enough." You might not recognize it immediately. It might manifest as anxiety, fatigue, an unexpected urge to cancel plans, or a desire to spend more time in solitude. This is your spirit attempting to capture your attention. When you finally begin to withdraw, not from resentment or anger, but out of a genuine need for space, everything begins to shift in unexpected ways. One of the first changes you will notice is silence. The chatter begins to dissipate, resulting in fewer distractions and lesser expectations. It feels as if you have unplugged from the relentless pressure to perform or please. In this silence, something extraordinary occurs. You reconnect with yourself. Your voice, your energy, and your needs emerge from the background. For some, this feels like returning home after a long absence. That deep breath you did not even realize you were holding can finally be released. Here lies the spiritual truth that many overlook. Not being consistently available does not lessen your capacity for love. In fact, it purifies your love because when you do give, it is not from obligation or burnout. It is from an abundance of energy. Instead of saying yes to things that deplete you, you begin to align your responses with what resonates with your spirit. This is a powerful kind of agreement. As you withdraw from external distractions, you become more attuned to the divine, to spirit, and to your inner guidance. This is where the deeper transformation occurs. You start to receive insights that had previously been drowned out by the noise of daily life. Once again, you feel a sense of direction, and life may no longer seem like a race. Instead, it transforms into a dialogue with the universe, with God, or with your higher self, or initiated by your choice to step back. You will also begin to see things with greater clarity, acknowledging truths you may have been reluctant to confront, such as who genuinely respects your boundaries and who was drawn to you solely because you had none. When you reduce your availability, you may notice who vanishes from your life, who becomes upset, or who accuses you of changing. That is completely acceptable. Allow them to feel as they do. The people who truly love and understand you will honor your need for space. They will not make you feel guilty for choosing peace. This is when your personal power starts to reclaim its place within you. You no longer feel like a puppet controlled by others. You begin to recognize that your time, energy, and attention are sacred. and not everyone deserves access to them. This realization can be transformative, both emotionally and spiritually. The less you distribute your energy externally, the more you can gather your spirit internally. During this transition, you may experience moments of loneliness, when you are no longer continuously engaged in conversations or social activities. The initial feeling of emptiness can arise. However, that is not loneliness. It is space, the very space necessary for growth, healing, and divine insights. Many people live in fear of being alone, never allowing themselves to hear what their soul truly wishes to communicate. You, however, are awakening to the understanding that stillness is not a void. It is rich with wisdom, presence, and power. You might discover that as you become more unattached to drama, gossip, or shallow relationships, deeper, more aligned connections begin to manifest in your life. Your energy starts emitting a new signal, attracting individuals who resonate with your peace, depth, and authenticity. They will only find you once you cease making yourself available to unhealthy energies. This beautiful paradox reveals that while you may lose certain relationships, what you gain in return is far more sacred. As your spiritual awareness evolves, becoming less available will no longer feel like a deliberate choice. It will come naturally. You will find that you do not need to force boundaries because you embody them. You will begin to live in alignment with your inner truth, and as a result, your surroundings will rearrange to reflect that truth. Opportunities will feel more suited to you, conversations more nourishing, and the passage of time will appear slower and richer. Life will shift from a focus on doing to a focus on being. You will cease to chase answers, validation, or healing. Instead, in your stillness, you will recognize the abundance of wisdom already residing within you. You will stop seeking solutions externally, opting instead to turn inward, praying, reflecting, and feeling more deeply. When you do so, the universe will respond in subtle, powerful ways that far surpass anything loud and superficial. Becoming selective not only with people but also with thoughts, habits, and environments will become a priority. You will no longer tolerate disturbances to your soul and will not pursue that which confuses your spirit. There will be no need for explanations. You will simply know. This knowing will guide you, allowing you to trust your inner yes and your inner no without needing external validation. This is freedom. Spiritually speaking, this shift opens the door to profound transformation. Once you experience the power of your own presence and understand what it is like to feel whole without being on call for everyone else, returning to old patterns will be impossible. The urge to constantly prove your worth will diminish, revealing that your value was never dependent on how much you give to others. It has always existed within you. People may misunderstand you or claim you have changed, but they do not realize that you have simply returned to your true self. This reconnection is sacred, healing, and necessary. It serves as a reminder that your soul has a purpose that requires energy, presence, and focus. You cannot fulfill your divine mission if you are forever distracted by things that do not nourish your spirit. Therefore, you will begin to walk differently. You will speak less, but convey more. You may show up less often, but make a more significant impact. As you become a quiet force, the universe will meet you at your level. Your manifestations will accelerate, your clarity will sharpen, and your sense of peace will deepen. Why does this happen? Because you are no longer leaking energy. You have closed off the channels that drain you, allowing your spirit to rise. You do not have to wait for a breakdown to initiate. This shift, you do not need to reach rock bottom. You can start today by simply asserting, I honor my energy. I protect my peace. I choose presence over pressure. From this mindset, everything will begin to naturally shift. You will let go of what does not align with your truth, but you will gain what is eternal. You will stop being busy and start being aware. The beautiful aspect of this change is that when you cease to be so accessible to the clamor of the world, you become much more available to the whispers of God, that gentle voice that guides, loves, and heals you. You realize that your soul did not come to this life to be on call at all times. It came to awaken, to remember, and to rise. And that rising begins with creating space, embracing stillness, and establishing sacred boundaries. If you have been feeling a need for a break from this world, if your heart craves solitude, quiet, or simply less interaction, trust that instinct. This does not signify giving up. It is a signal of your awakening. It is your soul preparing for something deeper, and when you honor this inclination, everything, absolutely everything, will begin to change in divine order. Now we return to the point made earlier. When you cease to be so available to the world outside, you will find a deeper connection to the world within. You will reclaim your own energy, ceasing to scatter your light and instead learning to contain it. That one choice to step back can lead to countless spiritual breakthroughs, so do not fear being less available. Embrace the excitement, for beyond being less available lies more clarity, more peace, more truth, and more of God. Your soul knows what it is doing. Trust the shift. Allow the silence to speak, and witness transformation in your life as you finally give yourself the space you have always needed.